For Unit 2, Day 1 notes, we're going to do this a little bit differently. So if you look on Google Classroom, there is a link to the filled-in notes, like a PDF file. There's also a link to the videos. So my thought was I would just walk through the notes with you, and then you could go back and copy them down from the PDF file. But I thought I would just go over the basics with you. So 1, inductive reasoning and patterns, conjectures. Inductive reasoning, making a conclusion based on observations and patterns. Most of your math life, you have been working with patterns. The conjecture, a concluding statement reached using inductive reasoning. So, for example, when we look at the pattern here, 3, 9, 27, 81, the conjecture is, what are you doing from 3 to 9, 9 to 27, 27 to 81, etc. So, and in this case, to generate the next term, you would multiply the previous term by 3. So 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27, 27 times 3 is 81, so forth and so on. So each one of these, obviously has a different pattern. And also we included pattern with images or pictures. Okay? So if you go to Google Classroom and look at that PDF file, I went ahead and filled all of these in, explaining the conjecture. So you can see each time I have one of these conjectures, it says to generate the next term, or each term is a square. You're trying to start out that sentence with that phrase. Okay? Example 2, I'm not going to do that example. It is there if you want to look at it, but I'm not going to worry about that one. Okay. Moving on. Same thing about example 3. I'm not going to emphasize example 3. If you want to look at it, it is kind of interesting actually, but I'm not going to speak about that. Example 4, here it says sales of backpacks at a nationwide company decreased over a period of 6 consecutive months. What conjecture can you make about the number of backpacks the company will sell in May? So first thing is, if you look down here, the months, this starts with November, December, January, February, March, April, May. And then it looks like here it's increasing by 500 each time. Okay? So if I look at my sales, it looks like I'm decreasing, so I'm going down. And since it was by 500s, if I look here, it's almost going down about 500 every time. Now this one's a little bit different there, a little more. But in general, it's pretty constant. So I put the graph shows about a 500 decrease each month. And to answer the other question, it says, I predict that it will drop about 500 backpacks and sell about 8,000. Okay? And then the counterexample, a counterexample is an example that shows a conjecture is false. So, for example, it says, if the name of a month starts with the letter J, it is a summer month. Well, that is false because January starts with J, and it's a winter month. And so it just keeps going through all the different ones. The sum of any 2 consecutive integers is always odd. Okay, that's true. So if you give you like any 2 integers you can come up with that are consecutive. Okay, so like 2 and 3 are consecutive. They add to be 5. That's an odd number. 3 plus 4 is 7. They're consecutive. Their sum is an odd number. So let's pick out another number like 11 plus 12. Well, we get 23, which is an odd number. And these were consecutive. Okay, so that's always true. Letter C, when you multiply a number by 2, the product is greater than the original number. So if we have the number 4 and we multiply it by 2, it's 8. So they're saying that this number is greater than the first number, 4. Which is true. Okay? But this one, a little bit tricky. It says true for positive numbers and false for negative numbers. So let's do a negative number. Let's say negative 4 times 2. That would be negative 8. Okay? Well, this is not greater than the original number we multiplied by 2. Okay? So negative 8 is less than negative 4. So that's where it proves it wrong. Okay? In letter D, you can connect any 3 points to form a triangle. So here I showed that that is a false statement, because if you drew a line, if you had 3 points that were collinear, like so, they form a line, or in this case a segment, and they do not make a triangle. It wouldn't work. So it's the only counterexample I could come up with for this being false. And then lastly, all state names have at least 2 syllables. So I'm thinking like, Indiana, Vermont. Just any state you can think of. Figure out how many syllables or syllabi it has. And then I came up with Maine being the only one that has 1 syllable, so that's false. So Maine is our counter example to prove that this is false. Okay? Alright. Okay, then in example 6, I'm going to start a new video for this one.